That's right, it's a pretty cold day, so that means it's time to do the spark plugs on the truck. Let's go ahead and pull this bad boy in. So I got the truck in the garage, and I'm trying to think of what side to start on. I want to start on the easiest side, but looking at the right and left side, they both look like a shit show. What the hell? No side really looks easier. But I guess the left side over here would be slightly easier. All right. Okay, so let's give this truck the benefit of the doubt, and let's just cross our fingers that these spark plugs come out super easy and uneventful, and it just turns into a regular spark plug job. All right, let's just say that. Okay, hopefully the video turns out pretty easy and boring. So it looks like the bolts that are holding down the ignition coils are real tiny little things, 7 mils. And before I pull out the first one, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the air gun to kind of blow out any debris that's stuck inside of here. And what I'm going to be doing is one coil at a time, so one spark plug at a time, because it makes no sense to go through all the trouble to remove all 4 coils on this side only to run into a problem with the first spark plug, and then that was all just wasted time and effort. So one at a time it is. Here goes our brand new spark plugs. They've been collecting dust. So this is the updated part from Ford. Supposedly these are the ones that aren't supposed to get stuck in the engine. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say the truck has less than 60,000 miles. So even though it's a 2005 and it has the original spark plugs in it, I'm hoping the fact that it has less than 60K on it, that these spark plugs aren't stuck in here. But we're about to find out. All right, so I got my 2 extensions on the first spark plug. Haven't touched it yet. Let's see if it cracks free. Oh, so far nothing. All right. Let's pull my tampon out. Try again. Ooh, okay, it broke free. Now let's see if it wants to continue to turn. All right, guys, so far, honestly, it feels pretty smooth. Very good. If they all break free, just like this one, we'll be good. Then I would have been worried for nothing. Now the socket I'm using doesn't have the little rubber boot in it to hold on to the spark plug. It also does not have a magnet in it, so I'm gonna have to use a separate magnet to actually pull the spark plug out. I should say. And I think the spark plug is just about out of the head. Alright, let me get my magnet. So this is where they typically get stuck. This portion right here sticks into the actual combustion chamber. You could see like the brown corrosion or carbon is starting to build up, and that's where they get stuck, and you know, this part fails and separates. Let me check out the part number on this. So I got the spark plugs side by side, and there is a difference. If we line them up, you could see the tip that would be inside of the combustion chamber is different. You could see on the new part, it's I don't know, it's just longer. You could say it sticks out further than the old design, but everything else seems to match up, and they are different part numbers. The old one says PZT1F and the new one says PZK14F. So it would be this number right here. PZK14F is the new spark plug. So as long as they all come out as easy as the first one, I'll be happy. And it's also nice to see that we already don't have the updated spark plugs in here, because like I said, I'm like 98% sure this thing has the original spark plugs in it. But my wife was telling me that there is a chance that her dad may have taken it to a local mechanic and had the spark plug changed. But I'm thinking that's highly unlikely, because when he had the truck, it still had like 30 or 40,000 miles on it. And I can't see someone taking it to a shop to get the spark plug changed at no 30 or 40,000. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think anyone's ever been in here, and it's nice that we are updating it to the new spark plug, so we should not have the potential issue of these spark plugs breaking off inside the cylinder head. Now, I've seen plenty of videos online. If these spark plugs do not want to come out, some people suggest running the engine until it's as hot as it can be, taking off the coils, and using an impact gun. Yeah, I know it sounds barbaric, right? Typically, I wouldn't do stuff like that, but people claim that's the way to do it on these engines. Get the engine hot, pull out the ignition coil, hit it with an impact gun, and remove that spark plug as fast as possible while everything is hot. Hopefully, it doesn't have to go to that on this job. Hopefully, everything comes out nice and smooth, just like the first one. So with the second ignition coil, it was actually stuck on the spark plug, and I want to show you guys how I deal with this typically. So on this ignition coil, it separates pretty easy. So all I did was separate the boot from the coil, and it comes out with the spring, so you could set that aside. And at this point, the boot is stuck inside the cylinder head on top of the spark plug, right? So I just grabbed some silicone lubricant, sprayed inside of there. You don't gotta get crazy, just a little bit. And then I grab a long, flat or straight pick like this, and I come in from the top, and basically you want to get between the rubber boot and the spark plug and work your way all the way around it to break that bond. And then once I was able to do that, this thing came out super easy, and then you could just put it right back on the ignition coil. The way you prevent this in the future is to put a little bit of silicone paste on the outside edges or the inside edges, the ID of this rubber boot. Nothing crazy, guys. You don't got to go, putting dielectric grease all over the place. Just enough to prevent it from sticking in the future. And yes, they do make a special tool for that. It's pretty much this thing right here. You could see what that's like. So you would put this inside the boot and push it down, maybe even spin it if you want, and it's supposed to break the bond between the boot and the spark plug. Does the same exact job that I just demonstrated using a long pick. So before anyone says there's a tool for that, I know I already have it. And here goes the second spark plug. This one was under quite a bit tighter, and it creaked and cracked as it was coming out. You could see the corrosion right there in the end, and this is exactly what's causing these things to stick in there. So I feel like I'm getting really lucky here. Like if this truck were at 100K, there's probably no way these spark plugs would have come out this easy. But there's a second one, and it put up quite a bit of a fight compared to the first one. So this is the third spark plug, and it's starting all its crackling and snapping just like I described. So I'll let you guys listen to this. So I also saw some YouTube videos of people suggesting basically just crack the spark plug free and spray some carb cleaner inside of there and let it sit for as long as you can tolerate. And the whole idea behind that is the carb cleaner is supposed to seep in to the bottom of the spark plug where all that carbon builds up, and it's supposed to help break it down so that it's easier to remove the spark plug. I don't know if I'm there yet. I guess I could spray some because I do have some carb cleaner here. I bought it specifically for this job. I don't normally keep carb cleaner around, but I don't feel like waiting for anything, so I don't know. It seems to be moving, guys. It's making noise. Of course, the threads are dry, but it seems to be coming out without, like, I don't feel like I need a 1/2-inch breaker bar, if that makes any sense. So let me get this spark plug out of here, see what this one looks like. All right, so here was spark plug number 3 and number 4. They both came out with pretty much the same amount of noise, cricking and chronic and cryptochronic and all kinds of crap, you know what I mean? But they're out. So that's one entire bank done. Hopefully the second bank goes just as smooth. But I think I have to pull out the truck right now because I have another job that's arriving. It's a pretty simple job, but I'd rather do it inside the garage. So let me put in the last spark plug on this bank, and I'll bring you guys back along once I jump on another bank. All right, so I wrapped up that other job I was talking about. I was just about ready to pull the truck back into the garage, but I figured, you know what, let's try something different. So for the first bank, the first 4 spark plugs, we did it with a stone cold engine, and we pretty much pulled the spark plugs out dry, no lubricant or anything like that. And we heard all the cricking and cracking, right? But for the other bank, let's try getting the engine up to operating temperature, and we'll try a little bit of penetrating fluid down each of the spark plug tubes. And we know all the noise and cracking that the first 4 spark plugs were making. So let's see if penetrating fluid and engine that's hot makes a difference. Oh, and now that I'm in the truck, we can actually see the miles. So we are just over 62,000 miles on it. Not bad for a 2005, right? All right, so I got the first ignition coil out. I'm working on the spark plug. Engine is still hot, and instead of penetrating fluid, I decided to use carb cleaner. Sprayed it inside of there. Of course, it wants to evaporate as soon as it hits the hot engine. But I can tell you one thing, this spark plug cracked free a lot easier than all of them on that side. And so far, it seems to be moving a lot easier. There's also no cracking noises, no nothing. Is it because this one just happens to come out easier, or did the hot engine and carb cleaner actually make a difference? I guess we'll find out once we do all 4 of them. So let's get this one out of here. I'll just tell you right now, it's a lot easier. So I got the spark plug out. You can actually see it's still steaming from the carb cleaner. You can see how it kind of like wicked down there. Yeah, so let me continue to remove the other 3, and I'll let you know if it made a difference. So the job is completely done. Everything is put back together on this side. So what's my thoughts on this type of job for this engine? Definitely get the engine hot, 100%. That's the way to go with this. As far as the carb cleaner, yeah, it helped, but I would say penetrating fluid would probably just do the same thing. I think the real thing here was the heat from the engine really helped. It was a massive difference trying to get these 4 out compared to the first 4. So anyway, like I said, job is pretty much all wrapped up. Let me go ahead, start it up, make sure everything's good, no misfires, it should be fine. But we have something else that needs to get done. Lately, the belt, I don't want to say the belt, but something running on the belt has been squealing like crazy. Before, it's been here for months, okay? I've noticed it once in a while, but since I was working on my wife's Altima for the past 3 days, she had to take the truck to work, and it's gotten worse since she's been driving it. And it's definitely one of the pulleys on the belt system. So we're gonna have to, not today because I'm tired, but we're gonna have to take off the belt one day and check each and every pulley, see which one needs to get replaced, and go from there. Yep, the Ford F-150. It gets more repairs than it gets driven. Let's go for that very first startup. Start it right up. And seems to be idling normal. I don't feel any misfires. Revs up just fine. And clearly you don't see a flashing check engine light. So that's all good. So guys, that's gonna be it for this one. I'm super happy. This job went way better than I was expecting, and I'm going to say that's because of the low miles. I feel like if this thing had closer to 100K or more, I feel like it would have been a real problem with those spark plugs like people typically have with these 5.4. So I feel like I just got lucky with this, and I'm just gonna count my blessings. Anyway, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and obviously there's gonna be more repairs on the F-150. So let me go ahead and park this turd. Thanks for watching.